how when I was repeating what she was saying to him at the end, you were like, have you seen this before? I was like, no, this is just exactly what he said to her. I understand movie parallels.
Yeah. Everything was funny. It was like Tyler Perry was sitting on the screen for a full 3-4 minutes, and I'm like, is that Tyler Perry?
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Joe.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic Black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
Today was Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Yep, it's Tyler Perry week.
Yeah.
So let's do the IMDb as usual. A couple's seemingly solid marriage begins to crumble when the wife discovers that her husband intends to divorce her.
I was actually very excited to hear what IMDb had as like the
Me
movie
too, because I
summary.
was like, what is this summary?
Because I didn't know what it was about. So. Alright, I guess we usually start off with things we like.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to start this time?
Sure. I don't have that many. But,
I really don't.
But I will say, just this quick little thing was, it was wild seeing in the initial title credits, it was wild seeing introducing Tyler Perry, considering how far he's come. Like, that was actually just really cool to see. But as far as the movie, I really liked Medea.
Okay.
Like, this isn't my first time seeing a Tyler Perry movie, so of course I know about the character of Medea. Like, we may be catching up on things, but we're not that far.
Yeah.
But, I thought all the Medea parts in the movie were really funny.
Wow, this might be a short things you like section, because that was the only thing I had down. Like,
yeah, that's the only thing I have down, too.
I had Medea down, and, like, I was fighting for a scene to like, and the scene I came up with was the Peace Be Still scene, where, it's Helen's mom reading the Bible or whatever, and she's like, peace be still, that's what Jesus said. And then Medea goes, I got this piece and it's steel, I'll tell you that much. I was like, yes, like I thought that was hilarious, but Medea was definitely my favorite part of the movie.
I think we got Medea when she was fresh, and like...
Yeah, like I see why she got the next...
because it was really funny.
Spin-offs, you know?
From like the moment we first saw her, I was like,
no, she was
you might have something there,
great.
but I loved it. That's honestly the only thing I have.
That's literally all I had. Like, I didn't. Yeah, again, like I had to search for that moment. You know? But the Medea scenes were fun. She wasn't in there as much as I would have liked.
Yeah.
You know? But I guess.
So I guess things we don't like.
Yeah, things we don't like. You know what? I updated it, and now the time's red. That worried me for a second.
Oh, okay.
But alright, things we didn't like.
Yeah, you can go first this time.
Let's see. I have a lot. I didn't like the whole movie. Like, there was I just found the whole I didn't understand the concept of the movie, and I didn't like the outcome of any of the situations in the movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of decision making that didn't make sense.
Like pretty much anything that involved Helen doing anything, I didn't really like. Like,
which is the movie.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, none of her actions really made sense.
Didn't.
Like, in the beginning, they kind of did, you know, when she was, like, I guess, angry, and, like, after, like, they first broke up, she went back to the house, ripped up her clothes. I was like, okay, like, I see where this is going. Then, I don't know what happened from there. Like, I guess she found out, I guess she already known about the other girl, who also had a family already.
Yeah,
like,
so
her
husband was cheating on her.
With this girl.
Yeah, so her husband of 18 years was cheating on her with this woman named Brenda, who is barely a character.
Yeah, but like he wasn't just cheating; he had 2 kids.
Yeah, like he essentially had an affair.
Yeah.
And I get what you mean too, because she essentially is like Helen's trying to like start a thing with Orlando, and that's pretty much it.
Well,
and
then she ditches Orlando for months and comes back and is just like, all right, I'll marry you.
Because Charles gets shot. And Charles is her ex-husband.
Yeah.
And he gets shot, and she just ditches Orlando to be with Charles, who she's divorcing. Like, at that point, they already had their court hearing. They already know they're getting divorced. They already know they just, like, are essentially paperwork away from not being married.
Yeah.
But she just...
The way that played out in my head is she, like, finally got over Charles post, like, divorce filing.
Yeah.
And then was booed up with get shot on TV
Yeah.
and was paralyzed, and then proceeded to like wait for him out of love, and then kind of just tortured him for a while.
Yeah, it didn't make.
And then there was like a
any sense.
time skip, and he was like, "I actually love you," and then they were together, and then she ditched him again for Orlando at the very end. I didn't like that. I didn't like
it at all.
You know?
And what is wilder is that in the play, because this is based off of a screenplay that Tyler Perry wrote, she goes back with Charles in the play.
Like again, or like after leaving, or she stays with Charles?
Like she stays with Charles.
I guess I would have preferred that almost, you know? Cause
I
like,
thought that was gonna, because I think the reason we didn't like her going back to Orlando was she essentially ditched him for a very long time, and then all of a sudden was like, "Ask me again to marry you." It's like, no, you've been gone for months. What if I'm with someone else? What if anything? Like you can't just ditch me for
and not
months
to
and be
mention
like,
Orlando
"Will you marry
didn't
me?"
ask the first time. He kind of slipped the ring on in the middle of the night, and then said,
Yeah, we had
"You
that
have to
with
be
that.
my wife." And then she ran off for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then came back and was like, "All right, ask me again." Like, I'm not just sitting there waiting for. I'm taking that as a no.
Yeah,
and then
that
I'm
seems
moving
like
on
a
with
no-
my life.
Because
like,
not only did she ditch Orlando, she like after 3 weeks of her hanging out with Charles, she was like,
yeah,
"By the way, we can't be together. Like you're a complication." He's like, "I can't be your friend then because I want to be in a relationship with you.
Yep.
We can't do this." And she's like, "I'm staying with Charles. I love him." And he's like, "All right, deuces." And then still,
yeah.
makes sense.
So yeah, I didn't like most of Helen's action.
Okay. I think this movie could have been shorter, and I know exactly what we could have cut out. We could have cut out all of Brian's little wife, whatever drama, where his wife was a druggie. That could have been cut out.
Oh yeah, big time.
Not
big time.
that wasn't a good storyline. It was an okay storyline, to be honest. I try to be nice. But what was wrong with that exactly was that they don't delve deep enough into it for it to make sense as part of the greater story. They kind of just like all of a sudden flash in on him every once in a while, and he's like has a druggy wife and doesn't want his daughter to be in choir, and it's like, well, what are we doing? I don't care.
Yeah.
And they just do it every once in a while, and I'm like, why? But why? We don't actually have to do that.
Yeah.
Like it's okay that he's just the lawyer. It's fine.
Yeah, I guess that kind of like, I think part of the reason that like whole storyline didn't seem fulfilling to me was one of my points I wrote down, and that was like, I felt like this movie used like the Christianity crutch a lot, you know, where like things happen and then they just like, you know, say like a Bible verse and then everything's better.
Yeah.
You know, which I understand faith, things like that, but to a certain extent, like I need to see things on screen happen, you know, like.
We're not.
I'm watching this
anything.
movie, like, I'm not at church, you know, like, I want to see
No,
I want to
get
see
it.
the resolution to these things. So, like, especially with the druggy wife, like,
We just
she
see
was a
her go to
druggy,
rehab, and then all of a sudden she comes back to church singing.
but it was like I guess it was the conversation with her singing, but then she, like, stormed into the church fully singing, and I'm like,
And also fully clean and stuff like that.
yeah, that's not how rehabilitation works. Like, these
She would've
things
been there
affect your
for much
minds
longer,
in
too.
real ways, like, it does take time, you know, and granted, this movie did do a lot of time skipping.
Yeah, speaking of time,
Like,
I
a
didn't know how
lot of
long
time
anything
skipping.
was.
Yeah, like I assumed everything was long, but then
Yeah.
like it didn't seem long because like they kind of just bounced around and like people
Yeah.
didn't have problems with getting abandoned for months at a time.
Yeah, I just didn't have a grasp of how long we were doing things for.
Yeah.
Where it was like, we haven't talked, but it's like, but how long haven't we talked? Like, is it months? Is it years? Like, what's going on? Especially because Charles got shot and was paralyzed. Like, that's a pretty tough rehabilitation thing. Like, he was paralyzed from, like, essentially the neck down. Like, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But, like, by the end of the movie, he was up in church and, like, singing and everything. And it's like, that's great and all, but how long?
Yeah, like
How long were we ditching
Orlando
Orlando for?
I guess we had that one montage, but like, if it's gonna be time, like, make me think it's time. Because now I'm like, okay, she abandoned Orlando for years because he fully recovered from being paralyzed.
Yeah. And
you
if
know?
she abandoned him for years, why is he so ready to get married to her
Exactly,
now?
you know?
Like, that didn't make sense. Speaking of Orlando, his hair was just the worst.
Yeah.
This is like really nitpicky, but it was bad.
No, that's not nitpicky. It's not nitpicky at all because it was terrible.
So bad.
It looked awful. Like,
Every time we
he
saw
saved us sometimes because he had the headband.
had that bandana.
But then it's like he's wearing a bandana. Like,
And
he's
the
in like this
problem-
fancy restaurant in a bandana. I'm like, you guys taking it off, I guess?
And the problem is, Shamar Moore is the character who plays Orlando.
Orlando, he's known for Criminal Minds, and he's known for not having hair, I think. Like, people, like, once he got rid of that awful wig, everyone was like, oh, so you can do other things than have terrible wigs, but it was bad.
Yeah, let's see. I guess the next thing I didn't really like the dialogue. It felt really like, to me, what it felt like was like, if robots, like, watched a bunch of, like, rom-coms and then, like, tried to have a conversation. Like,
because no one was saying anything.
Yeah, it just, like, the people were like, it just felt like every time someone said words, it was like that stare into the camera. No, but this, like, I will follow you to the ends of time. You know? Like, but every line felt kind of like that. So I'm like, this doesn't feel like a conversation people would have. Like, even with Helen and Orlando, like, they weren't really believable as a couple. Because you don't really, like, aside from that one montage, you don't really get to, like, see them feel comfortable around each other on screen. Like, anytime they're on screen, she's kind of just, like, playing that, like, very broken, intense role, you know? So, like, it doesn't seem like they have any lighthearted moments together. So, like, even seeing them as a couple didn't really feel... Like, I couldn't really get behind
it. And I know exactly how this movie should have gone. We might get to that later, but how this movie should have gone was she should have been with Orlando, done the divorce proceedings, fought for anything. Like, don't let him have all the money. Like, no, girl, that's not how it works.
That just didn't make sense.
That made no sense. I mean, I get she was trying to make a thing where, like, oh, I'm over you, whatever. Like, but you really weren't. So fight for anything. And then afterwards, Charles gets shot. You have to go there because you're still technically a married couple. Like, the divorce wasn't finalized or anything, so you technically have power over, like, if he lives or dies. Say, hey, resuscitate him. Hire a nurse and bounce out of there. Hang out with Orlando. And then their conflict should have been Orlando does something that kind of reminds her of Charles, and she has to, like, grapple with the signs of abusive relationship versus, like, just a regular fight, and that's the main conflict. Instead of her going back to Charles and torturing him for a bit, and ditching Orlando, who really loves her, even though we kind of don't know why. And that's how it should have gone.
Yeah. And I mean, going off that too, like, in that hospital, why did the girl who, again, has two of his kids give up so easily? Like,
I'm confused as to how she
disappeared the rest of the movie.
Because she took all his money. I don't know how.
Oh, how'd that happen?
I don't
like,
know.
He's still
he just
alive.
like randomly says that no. Helen randomly says she took all his money, but I don't understand how. Because why would she be able to?
Well, no, I thought that's why she wanted him to die. That's why she was like, don't resuscitate him so she could get the money. But even in that case, like, they weren't married yet.
Yeah.
You know?
She would
so,
have
like,
no claim
that would
to
have
his
backfired.
money.
And then, again, like,
technically it would have
he
gone
was
to
alive.
Helen, I think, still.
No, it would have, because they were married still.
Yeah.
And again, like, he's still alive. Like, there should have been no transfer of money, period. Like, unless she straight up robbed the dude.
And if that case, show your work movie. How'd she rob him?
Yeah, no, exactly. And then
you could have cut out some of that druggy stuff and figured out how she robbed him. Because I don't get it.
Could have cut all that out. And then again, like, she had 2 kids with the guy. Like, that was kind of glossed over. I feel like
how did Helen not find that out earlier?
That's what I'm saying. It seems like Helen was the side family, like the side piece. Because like
she was the side piece with none of the benefits.
Like, I think she had it twisted because you were just like cleaning up this man's house for free for 18 years while he had a whole other family, 2 kids. One kid looked about 9. One kid looked like 4 or 5. Like, these are like substantial, like full children, like full mini adults. Like, these are people.
It's not like just a baby and she's pregnant. Like, these are fully grown. They're fully formed.
Yeah, I'm like...
Like, they can start sentences, they can tell you things, they can do math.
Yeah,
like,
no, I was mad at the guy for slipping up like that. Like, why are you not with the kids? Like,
yeah. He was like, yeah, the kids need their dad. It's like, then go to them. Why are you still with her?
Dad. Like, why are you sitting in an empty house?
What they should have done was it should have been he was with her for 9 years, and now we're trying to figure out how to separate them.
Yeah, like, something like that.
That didn't work. Also, I didn't like that Helen was so defined by her relationships, and we never figured out who she was as a person. Yeah. I thought for a second we were going to, but we didn't. Yeah,
no, I had like, one thing I heard a lot in this movie was, like, good man, or, like, she's a good woman, or you need to find a good woman, or I have a good man. Like, there was a lot of that, like, good man, good woman. elevator job toward the end.
That's not a job.
Yeah, it is.
It's not anything.
It's a decent hustle, but like she like.
But I
she
feel
could have
as
put in so
though-
much more work, especially after turning down that money. Like you
Yeah.
gotta have something up the sleeve. You can't just be turning down.
Yeah.
Like
For a sec, I thought she was gonna be like stereotypical Hallmark movie or whatever, and just want to own a bakery or something. But
yeah.
she didn't even do like. What did she want?
Like,
I
you
don't know
like,
what she wanted.
The best revenge would have been to get half his money.
That would have been the best revenge.
You know,
Get
live your
half
best
his money,
life, you know?
then have him be paralyzed or whatever, and
leave him with his family, with his 2 kids.
with the family that he didn't want to abandon, but that
I
abandoned
don't know
him.
why he's been fooling around with you in the first place, but he has 2
Oh
kids and
my
a whole other, you know.
Okay, we've talked about this for a long time. What are our ratings?
Yeah. You want to go first?
I have to go down from what I wrote. It's a 1.5.
Okay. All right.
Just for all the things we said, and looking back, I have nothing that I liked except for Medea.
Yeah.
And Medea wasn't in that much, so
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's pretty much in the same spot. I had this at a 1. Like I really did not.
This is our
like
first
this.
one.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh man.
So yeah, like
I was trying to be nice.
no, I like this one felt nice to me too. You know, like I don't think I really like I did like had we not been doing this, I would have turned this movie off quickly, like with swiftness. Like probably before Medea even showed up, I would have turned it off.
Oh.
Like I really did. Like there and then like not only would I have turned it off swiftly, like had I not turned it off, there were several other points where I would have turned it off. Like
Yeah.
I could not wait for this movie to end.
It was going on for a long time.
Yeah.
What is
yeah.
this movie? 117 minutes. You feel everything.
Yeah, no, it's close to 2 hours, and like it is 2 hours. You know,
Yeah.
like yeah. So I really didn't like this one like at all.
That's some low
At
points.
all.
Now I want to change mine.
Yeah.
Because I feel as though 1 is almost like a 0 to me.
I didn't know if our scale started at 0, so I was like, I'll just put it at a 1. Like I feel
I
like
didn't know if our
safe.
scale started at 0 either, so I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna essentially treat 1 as a 0 and then do
Okay.
1.
Yeah, but like again, like I did not like.
Honestly, Medea is the only thing that made it not a 0.
Yeah.
I guess
like,
we just weighted Medea differently.
Yeah, no, I think there definitely is a 0. I think there is a 0 because like I was giving the 1 like okay like it has something, you know, like
Yeah.
that is a star, you know, like that's a positive. But
Yeah. So.
again, like Medea deserved that star. Medea got that whole star. Like the rest of the movie, no, the rest of the movie I could do it now, you know.
Oh man.
But yeah, so we got our first one.
Do we wish we saw this earlier?
No.
No. I barely wish I saw it now.
I'm good. Yeah.
Tyler Perry week is starting off rough.
Yeah, and we got another one. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. I didn't think this one would be that bad.
I thought I'd like this a lot more.
So did I.
I really did.
Because he essentially has an empire now, so it was like, what was it?
Well, it was Medea, like...
Yeah. I guess, because when you think about it, Medea pops up a lot more in other movies.
Yeah, no, like the rest of the movies, don't they like have her name in the title?
Yeah, there's like Medea's family reunion, Medea goes to church, Medea goes to hell, I don't know.
Like there are set, like Medea definitely, I feel like, helped the franchise.
She stole the show, and there wasn't a lot of show for her.
Yeah. So maybe the movies with more Medea are better.
Okay.
Yeah, alright. YouTube housekeeping, like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell. Leave us in the comments any suggestions for new movies that you want us to watch. We watch movies Tuesdays and Fridays, and on Sundays we listen to music and watch TV shows. All of our socials will be linked in the description down below, and we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye! I love you and or like I love you and I have nothing else going on.
The whole movie seemed very